Hey, all you lovely creative people. This is June from Oaknwich Lane Designs, and today I'm going to try to show you how I made the candles for my witch's bathroom castle room. Okay, now there's a lot to talk about, and it's a very tiny stuff that I'm working with. The first thing I wanted to talk to you about was I get my lights and the battery pack from this company. It's called One of a Kind Artist Emporium. It's online, so all you would have to do is put in, of course, www, this name right here, and I'll put the link below, and .com. And this is where I got all of this equipment to make my tiny candles, or at least the light and the battery pack for it, this part of it. I've been ordering from this company for a very long time. The lady's name who runs the company is Judy. She's wonderful. She's out, I believe, in California, and she ships quickly, always ships quickly. She has excellent merchandise. Her wings, she has all sorts of fairy wings, butterfly wings that you can order and use. She's really a wonderful person. She's even done some custom work for me at times. Now, every time you buy something from her, you always get a little package of goodies, and it's gotten to the point where I can't wait to see what she puts in her package when she sends it to me. These happen to be some glass marbles that are they're more on the gray tone, but they have the AB finish, so they're very pretty. You can't see all of the colors that are here, but they're not the clear ones, they're the gray ones, but I love these, and I'll be able to use these in a future project. Okay, so what you get when you order, and you can order in different ways, and if you go on her website, you will see fairy lights in the left. Just look down on the side, and you get, this is a battery pack, and it comes with this battery. It's a CR2032, and how you install it in here, it's very easy. There's a plus on the battery. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can. And there's a plus on the battery pack, so you just put them in. Put that in, and here's your little switch. And I love this little thing. It clicks on and clicks off. Hopefully I clicked it on. Now, here is the first candle. I am going to be making 3 black candles for my witch's castle to put on the shelf as she's taking her bath. And I'm going to try to show you oops, let's get in screen. I'm going to try to show you as best I can on how I made this. Now, there's 2 types of fairy lights that she sells, and one is, you can barely see this. I can barely see it in real life. It's about the width of a hair. And there's one that has, which is this one, which is the one I was using, which is a flickering light bulb. If you go on her website, you'll see closer up pictures of the light bulb. And I wanted to use the flickering one. Now, hopefully I can light this up so I can show you how this looks and how it flickers. How you do this, there's a black wire and a red wire, and I'm not connecting them permanently now because I'm just trying to show you this. I'm just going to try to make a connection, and if you can, well, come back here. Okay, let's see if I can hold this down with my 2 fingers. Can you see this? Now this is the amber one. I'm going to bring you down a little bit, and you can see how it's flickering a little bit, and I thought that was a little more realistic. Okay, now this other one, and these little, oh, this comes in 2 different color bulbs. I got the amber, the flickering one. Now these come in all different colors, and according to her website, you can link. I have 3 of them. I almost lost them a few times because they're so thin. Now on this one, you have a green wire and a red wire, and how you do this is you attach the green to the black, and of course the red, come on babe, the red to the red, and then this little light goes on, but it doesn't flicker. It's just a steady light, which would have been very pretty too, but it's flickering because I'm moving it and I'm not making a connection, but it's a steady light. And it looks a lot bigger than it is on the screen than it is in real life, but it's beautiful. I believe she has the warm white, red, green. If you go on a website, you'll see the colors. Okay, so I'm going to bring you back up so I'm not getting you too dizzy here. Hopefully, there. Don't get too dizzy with me. Okay, good. Let's straighten you out a little bit. Good. All right. So, since I decided to use the flickering light bulb, if you come in screen, if you see it, it's connected to the light bulb with like it's a U shape. While this one is just straight. Okay, very straight because it's a smaller bulb. Now, if I was just using these smaller ones, I could have sculpted the little lights. I could have sculpted a light in polymer clay, a tube in polymer clay, and just put a hole in it, baked it, and then when it was done, thread this little thing through the hole I made, maybe with the little glue, and just connected it straight to the, made candles that way, because this wire pretty much is a straight connection. Because this one has a U here, I didn't want to start playing with that and squeezing that into polymer clay because I didn't want to break any of the connections. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this since I didn't sculpt it in polymer clay. And I was just looking through things and I had some brass tubing. Now this is a much bigger piece of brass tubing than what I used. The size I used for that candle that I made is this. And I don't know how, let me see if I can find my ruler. It's, I would say about 3/8 of an inch in diameter. This one that I'm also going to be using is a little smaller, but I'm going to show you on this one. Now, how I figured this out was I took, and this is sort of easy in a way, I took the 2 wires, put it through the pipe. Oh, I also want to show you, you know what? Let me hold off on this. I brought this out for a reason. This is a much thicker, a wider pipe. I think this is probably like a 1/4 inch. No, this is 5/8 of an inch. Wait, 1, 2. This is 3/8. I guess the other one was, let's see, what was this one again? Can't even measure anymore. Oops. Let's go through. This was 3/16. I'm sorry. This little guy is 3/16, and this other one is 3/8. I have this pipe cutter, and it's for anything of 1/8 to 5/8 diameter. And if you've never seen one of these, the only reason why I know about these kind of tools is because my husband used to work with it, but he used a much larger one because, of course, he was cutting bigger pipe. Is you take this, you put it in the center, and there's 2 rollers over here. And the blade is right here. This is the blade right over here. You put this in here and you tighten, get it on the rollers, and you tighten up the screw until the blade hits the brass, whatever you're cutting. The blade is hitting, and you turn it. You start to turn it. And I don't know if you can see that. It's starting, you see that line right there? Let me see if I can get it in the light. There's a line coming right here. And once you go like a couple of times around, you take it and you tighten the screw a little bit. And that makes the blade come in more. And you just keep turning your pipe. And then you do it again, a little bit more, little by little. And this way, with these hollow tubes, this is the only way that I know that you don't squish the hollow tube when you're trying to cut it, so that you don't have the hole through it anymore. And you keep doing this, and you turn it, and sometimes you might need a pair of pliers to really turn it. Keep tightening the screw and rolling it around. And this takes a little bit of it's not 1, 2, 3, but there you go. And you get a pretty clean cut. Okay? And whatever isn't like it's a little sharp, you file it down a little bit. But that's how I cut this little one. Okay, now getting back to making the candle. This has a more rounder edge because I guess this is where I cut it. I'm going to take the wires, the black and the red wires, and pull it through. Now you want to be very gentle with these wires because they're small, they're tiny, and you don't want to be jerking them around too much. Now I was trying to figure out what could I put in here so it's holding the light bulb in place. Oh, well, I could have just did it this way. Wouldn't that have been much easier? So I decided that this paper mache material that I've been using was a good filler, and it would dry sooner or later in there, and it would hold the light bulb where I wanted it to be. So I took it, and once the light was through, I just started filling up the tube with this. Trying not to bend the wires too much, and just filling up the tube with the paper mache. Take your time with this. You're not in any rush. You don't want to be poking the wires any more than necessary. Turn it over. It's a little bit to one side, so squish that out. Make sure it's even on all sides. I did put a little too much on one side, so let's see if I can put a little bit more on the other side, just so that the light is in the center when it comes out of the tube. And if it doesn't work the first time, then just take it out and do it again. Now this light bulb has it's a light bulb, and then it's on this little rectangular thing that I'm not sure I want it to show. Now if I put too much, because obviously I am, because it's not going, so I'm going to just take a little out and see if that works better to get that more towards the center. And I've got to put more on that side. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I know this is really tiny. I don't know if my camera is going to be in focus if I bring it down. Let's see. Are we in focus, guys? No, it's a brightness. Oops, we don't care about brightness. Focus. No. That's about the best we can get. Just pushing little bits of paper mache down in there. Okay. And then I might want to put a little, since it's not really equaling up, I might just try to put a little in from this side if I can. Hold on, I gotta get some off the other side because it's not letting it sit center. And if it doesn't work, push it out, pull some stuff out, and try to get it. And if it really doesn't work, I'll pull the whole thing out and start from the beginning. Doesn't matter. Now is not the time to, there you go. I think that's a little bit more centered. I'm trying to get this little piece of the light bulb right here in the center of my tube. And now I'm just putting a little bit of this paper mache around the top. A lot of candles, the light goes down. Of course, it's not sticking. Okay, if it's not sticking, you can always take a little white glue, add it to the sides over here, and that'll make it stick a little bit better, I think. But once this paper mache dries, this stuff is like rocks, it really is. It'll keep the candle, the light bulb in the center. I just want to go around the top edge with more of this paper mache. Just press it in. Might need just a little bit of glue on that side. Okay. And as I was saying, the light, the candle or the wick is it goes down and you see candle around it. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I might not get it. I got it on the other one, but it's because I'm trying to do it on a screen or make a video of it. And things when you make a video never seem to work out. So that's what we're doing here. Okay, and then once you get this to the way you want it, smooth it out. Got little bits of, I'm just going to test it to see if I like where I placed it. Okay, 1, 2, and 2. And it looks, can you see it? It looks pretty good right there in the center. Okay, so you wait for this to dry. I will, when I'm off camera, I will work more on the back, but you're waiting for this whole thing to dry. And then when you're done with that, once it's dry, I took my, as on this one, because the metal is very smooth and I didn't want it to look smooth. So I took some of my mold builder. This was, I'm going to raise this up a little bit. This is Casting Craft. It's liquid latex rubber. So if you're allergic to latex, I don't suggest using this. I just opened it up. A little messy. Took a paintbrush, a little paintbrush, and I will paint this latex all around here. The latex will sit and dry, will stay rather, and dry on the metal. I hang it upside down or any which way to dry so that it's not touching. And then I can put another coat. I can put as many coats of this on here as I want to give a texture to it. I'm not sure you can see the texture. Maybe you could see, no, you can't really. There is texture to these candles and little drips here and there. And when that's all dry, all you have to do is take some paint and paint it whatever color you want. The latex keeps the paint on the metal, so I used just some black gesso on this to paint it. I'll come back after I'm going to be making two more, this one and another candle. When they're all done and painted and, with the mold builder and painted, I'm going to be placing them in the castle, and I'll try to show you how I wire it up. It's going to be a little bit difficult because I'm going to try to wrap 3 candles onto this, but onto only one of these, and I'll show you where I placed my switch and everything else like that. You have to be very gentle with these because they can bend, so I'm going to do my best to make sure that I have it all set up, and I'll show you when I get that done. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. I got my 3 candles done. I'm so excited, and they all work. I'll bring it up and show it to you. There they are. Now, I made the candles exactly as I said I told you I was doing. These are all in, let me get this out of the way of the mouse. They're all in brass tubes. And then I just made a hole. I don't know if I can bring it around to show you. I made a hole through the shelf. It's really hard to get the light, but you get the idea. I made a hole through the shelf and I put the wires through and I glued these all down. Now this particular one right here is just on a button that I took out the inside. I put some paper mache down there, let it dry, and I painted it gold. This one is just attached directly to the shelf, and I took some of my liquid pearls and just put dots all around the base so it would look like it's sitting on something. And this one is a very strange snap that I had. It's 2 pieces, and this bottom piece had a hole through it. So, I said, great, I'm going to use it. It looks just like a candlestick holder. Can you see that? I don't want to pull this down. I love it. So I tested it out. I connected it, and how I connected them was, and hopefully nobody comes off, is I just took the 3 wires and wrapped them as securely as I could around the 1 wire coming from the switch. Can you see that? I think so. Okay, and I'm laying them down nice and gently because I don't know if I did mention to you or didn't mention to you, but the first switch that I had on the side of the castle, it's right here. Can you see that? Yeah, there's a little, I showed you the switch before. Something happened where I must have pulled it or manhandled it, and it didn't work. So I had originally bought 2 switches simply because I knew that I was going to mess one up. I guess it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I had to dig it out because it was all done. That's why there's not much. I didn't work more on the castle walls. Put it in because now I have to cover this area right here, all of this little slit over in here with more of the paper mache. And then I made a little line where I could run my wires, and I taped them in, and here's the battery pack. The battery pack pretty much stays in there. I want to just maneuver the wires as much as I can, just to make sure that any kind of movement with the wires doesn't pull something out and I get this piece all done and then all of a sudden the lights don't work. Okay, so here are my 3 candles. They flicker. If I turn off the lights for you to see it, you won't see anything, but I think you can see especially this one flickering a lot. They all are. And I have my window in temporarily just because I wanted all the 50, all the pieces that are floating around this place, just in the area. I am going to, just so it was in place because I'm losing pieces. I'm wearing the same shirt as I was when I was making the candles, just for costume continuity. And the only other thing is this particular tool here, I poked myself really bad while I was trying to poke. Oh gosh, I tell you, they say crafting is, good, easy, safe. No, it's not. I poked myself with this, and this morning I saw that it was starting to get a little infected. So with all the germs that are going around in school and everywhere else, I started to take care of it because I don't need an infection besides anything else. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I very gently, it's hard to see without getting shadows, but I very gently bent these wires back so that they would touch this. Okay, and I'm going to, okay, let me get my tape dispenser over here. I have some black tape, could be white tape. It doesn't actually matter because no one's going to see this because this is where my beadboard is going to go. But what I'm just trying to do is get these wires in place. Now, there's a lot of wire here. I want to make sure that there is a lot of wire here. And I could have probably cut them down, but then I was afraid this little plastic coating that is covering them, and the wire is so thin that I didn't know if I was going to be able to take the plastic coating off from the wire so I could make my connections. And once I made the candles, I really didn't want to try. Now the reason why I'm leaving them on while I'm doing this, and I should try to make the wires go as flat as humanly possible. Let me see, I want to take that off. I'm so busy talking, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Is I am going to take coffee stirrers, and I think I've told you this before, my daughter and I, well, my daughter mainly, every time she goes to Starbucks, she takes a coffee stirrer and brings it home to me. And I'm going to use my new tool. I'm so excited about this. Martha has one and Ara has one, and I've been wanting to get one, but I didn't have any need for it because, well, I don't really use coffee stirrers or wood. But let me tell you, this cuts polymer clay pretty well. And when I do the molding or underneath it, I'll show you how easy it is to cut polymer clay, like those little decorative moldings with this. But I bought this, I got it on Amazon, and it came with 2 extra blades. They're mean looking blades. So this is not something I would ever recommend, even, well, I'm not even sure I recommend it for me, just to make sure that I don't put my finger in there trying to line it up. So I'm using it very cautiously because this is very, very sharp. But I'm going to use this to cut my coffee sticks. And that's what's going to go on top of all of this to make it really look like beadboard. So I'm just going to try to get these down as flat as humanly possible. I hope you can, I'm just trying to flatten out the wires, guys. This isn't anything, just so that it's flatter. I don't know, neater looking. And I'm just going to tape and be very gentle, especially with the switch. Tape the connections. If I have to go up here and make a loop-de-loop, I will. And tape this all down. Sorry, excuse me. And then I'm going to start cutting my coffee stirrers and just putting them in here. Now, the shelf isn't glued in yet, and I'm going to wait a little bit before I glue in the shelf. Now, here's where I connected them. So I'm going to put a couple of pieces of wire. I'm leaving the light, of tape. I'm leaving the lights on to make sure that I'm not disconnecting them at any particular point in time. And I'll probably turn on the lights every once in a while when I'm doing my coffee stir beadboard. It's so exciting. I shut the lights off in here, and if I did that, you couldn't see anything. But you could see the candle lights flickering through the window. And I have, I'm making some bats, which I'm going to show you once I figure out to put on the outside of the castle wall. They're so cute. I'm putting a little flocking on their belly. I think I started a video on that. I don't even know. I got so many things going on here. I have no idea because I'm not doing this in any kind of order. I made some bottles to go on the shelf that I just have done, but I do want to talk about filling them with resin. So I might do a recreation there, or reenactment, not a recreation, a reenactment. And I know this might not look the neatest, but it just need to hold the wires down, because when I put my coffee stirrers on here, I'm going to be gluing them in. So that would help the wires stay more, but I just don't want them to shift at all because it's working. So this might not look as pretty, but no one is going to see this except for me and anyone who views this video. Okay, so I think we have them down pretty much. I'm going to start. One of my favorite things I was looking forward to the most was starting to cut my coffee stirrers and putting them in. I'm going to, I believe, I'm going to try to start in the center. That way, you know, if they run, if there's only little half pieces, I won't mind if it's there. But I'll build out from the center. And then, okay, just so you see that, because this isn't going to be a hard thing for you to see, because I'm going to do this off camera and we'll come back when it's done. Let me get my tape. Just going to take this coffee stirrer. Okay, this thing is, the only way to open this blade is to press it and move this. This is a screw. It's really cute. So I guess if it, you know, gets off a line or something, I don't know, but I could screw it in or screw it out to make sure that it works. So I just lay my coffee stirrer down because I want to cut off the curvy part. Lay it down on my machine like this. See, little curvy part. And that was not a lot of effort at all. And we have a nice straight cut, except probably I didn't hold it straight. And there you go. So now I'm just going to do that with all of these, measure them out from floor to top of shelf, and start gluing in. And I think this is going to look just like beadboard. And if there's spaces in between, I'm going to try to minimize it because not all of these are straight. That's okay because I'm going to be painting it, of course, black, but that's fine because it'll just make it look a little bit more, not perfect. Perfect things, especially in, let me shut this. Okay, there we go. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially for a project like this. This is not one of those doll houses that everything is lined up and it looks good. This is a place where someone has lived. It's old. It's a castle. Things don't necessarily fit, which is very good because if they had to fit perfectly, that would have taken somebody else besides me to do it. So I'll come back and I'll show you how we got this done. And until then, I don't know if, wait, I don't know if I'm going to make it a separate video or not. I'm not quite sure, but there will be things added to this. I want to show you the bottles, or maybe it'll be a whole separate group. I don't know, but I'll see you soon. Don't poke yourself. Take care.